there's so many goddamn people playing this game.
Yeah.
And there's so many teenagers out there, right? That could be, in essence, better than pro players right now, but they're not going to be able to compete for another 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even as an AM, you still don't have that ability. Like, a parent signature required? Like, how does that work?
And, like, it's not like back in you can't play, like, as a kid either, you know? Like, you have to start basically end of high school or, like, in college when you can even start variant, you know? Like, I started variant when I was 14. You can't even do that anymore, you know? Simp, I think I remember playing Simp in, like, AW.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the age limit turned, and he's, like, 13 or something.
Yeah.
Like, that guy couldn't play for 5 years.
Yeah.
He's just sitting around, like, well, like, you can't even, like, figure out what you want to do until after high school or starting college.
So what do you do, right? Because if you can't compete for money because you're 13 years old, even if you submit a letter from your parents, you still can't compete for money because you're still underage, and it's as much as it's a game of skill, people in the law doesn't necessarily interpret it that way. So does your dad sign up for you and he collects all your cheese and he's just this 35-year-old phenom?
Yeah. He's just winning everything under your name.
Under your name, and then what? He gets picked up, and then we're expecting this 35-year-old dude with a family. He's like, no, it's like,
it's just this little guy.
It's still in my son. Then what do? You're fucked, right? Like, for 5 years. So I think that there's got to be a lot that needs to be sort of developed from a Call of Duty perspective. One of the things is obviously the blood mode needs to be removed. Like, the fact that in Ghosts we had paintball mode, right, where it was green ooze instead of
same
blood.
Thing with AW.
In AW, same thing, right? It was robot oil or whatever. Like, that sort of thing needs to happen again and again and again. And blood and gore doesn't do shit for me. You know what I mean?
It really doesn't change anything if you take it away.
Like, if you go back to Black Ops 1, incredible artwork, right? Like, you could see people's limbs, or Black Ops. Black Ops, right? It was a World at War, where you could see limbs coming off.
It might have been World at War.
Yeah, in World at War, like, you got hit with an airstrike, and then you would see your soldiers just like fucking lose a leg, and it's up in the air. Like, that doesn't do shit for me anymore. You know what I mean? Like, the reality of everything is the fact that we've seen it all on TV. We've seen it all. It's the age of the internet. That's no longer like an impressive, like, oh my God, it's the dopest shit. Like, you see, it's not Mortal Kombat in the 90s where.
Or like blood flying on your screen. Like, like
the jelly, like all that shit. Like, nobody needs that. Like,
especially like a lot of like futuristic CODs now, just throwing paintball effects, you know, like
paintball effect, lasers, like anything.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the sort of thing, that's step one to sort of continue to help the up and coming amateurs sort of, if you're farming talent at an early age, like 13, that's the thing that you need to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
I agree.
From a competitive standpoint, you want to be able to develop these players, and you want to be able to sort of give them the path to see if you're going to end up with an excellent player. And we do ourselves as a Call of Duty community, we do ourselves as an esports community a disservice in not sort of nurturing that talent and see what it can become. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't affect anything. Like, it won't affect viewership if it's. People aren't gonna say, "Well, I'm not buying it because they remove blood from this thing."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Call of Duty's Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty. Look at Halo. Look at Counter Strike. You don't see any, like, how much blood do you truly see on there?
Not much. Yeah.
So. It's not something that I think, and I know from Activision's perspective, it makes it almost difficult for them to be like, well, we have a $1 billion a year industry. Like, why would we tweak anything? And,
exactly.
And just let's keep on fucking games up for the rest of the time and do that.
Keep making their cash.
Yeah, keep making cash. So I understand, but I think that from an esports perspective, we need to sort of be better at farming that talent, because if the Simps of the world, the U's of the world, the Illies, all these super, I mean, think about Scump, right? It was, what game was there? I don't know. It was this. Okay, Scumpy couldn't play for 2001 at Champs because he was underage, right? The following year they changed it. And then he could compete. But imagine if he kept on hitting these roadblocks where you can't compete. He's going to go play Halo. That's the game that he started out with. And he loses this whole opportunity, and he's just another random dude out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's probably tons of opportunities that have slipped by like that. People that would be COD phenoms just slipping under the radar because there's no like no system to help them like get to where they need to be.
Right. And then you have people that just do it for fun that happen to be really, really good. There was this one guy, this Irish dude. Oh, I feel like shit that I don't remember his name, but he started as a YouTuber and then he played pro for some of those out there. What the fuck was his name? Anyway, I wish I was Thorin in situations like these because I would know the fucking name of the player. But he started as a YouTuber and was good enough that he played professionally, right? And there's these, like, over and over, you're going to see these situations that are out there that people are just not going to get a chance. Look at the current state of Call of Duty as it stands right now. There's a lot of pro players that didn't get picked up for whatever fucking reason, that didn't get picked up on pro teams, whether it's relationships between players, whether it's relationships between owners, and whether it was relationships, whatever. It's who you know that ended up, taking care of half of the league's teams. But then you have other people out there that just didn't get a fair shake at this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, there's going to be other franchises that are going to come in when we expand, if we expand to more teams. Like, the talent's going to be there, but it's an atrocity in a sense that these people could essentially be like, man, you know what? I didn't get picked up. I'm going to go play a different game. I'm going to go. I got to make money somehow.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully this year, like, I think for the people that didn't get picked up, I think there's like $1 million in like the challengers, like prize pool for the whole year or whatever, which is like still really good compared to at least what it used to be,
Yeah.
Like, I think that's definitely a big step forward, but even then, like you said, like, we're going to expand soon. Those guys will get their opportunities, and that'll be that. But it really is a lot of politics.
Yeah. And the other thing is like you play Counter-Strike, right? You're good at Counter-Strike?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. So imagine, like, if you get, like, what we have to develop everybody and figure out what their best game is, right? Because you're good at Call of Duty, but imagine if you were going to be double the player that you are now in Counter-Strike, but you'll never find out because Call of Duty is giving you such a good, opportunity that you never really truly find out. The other thing is that you'll never be able to improve above what you are now unless you play better players. And AMs, when are they going to get a chance to get some reps in against the best of the best of the best? And I think, again, that's another disservice that we do ourselves, where you're only going to play Atlanta, you're only going to play New York, you're only going to play these people.
Yeah.
They only get to play people worse than them.
Yeah. I think, like, it's kind of a shame too, because like a lot of the AM teams in this game specifically are like actually pretty good compared to like some of the pro teams.
Yeah.
And like I mean, there's like a couple like at the beginning of the game, like UYU, they were like shaking a whole bunch of pro teams and scrims and stuff like that. And like obviously pro teams have gotten better and better because they just usually improve at like a faster rate, right? But like even just to have like if they won the challengers event, or like two like back-to-back challenge event, those two teams won, like the next event they get thrown into like the pro pools or something like that to give them like there still should be like a shot to do that, like back in the day where you could make it out of bracket play and make it out of open bracket and get into bracket play versus the pros, and that's where you could see like how good you were. If you were an AM player, that's where I'd be going in like, okay, like I'm gonna do my best in this match, and then like afterwards you can evaluate, see how good you actually are. Like I think that's definitely important for like your first one or two events, like back in the day, where you'd go there and you make it through the open bracket versus all like the shitty teams, and then you get to like the pro teams and you either get shit on or maybe you play them tight, and then you can evaluate.
Yeah. I don't know. There's definitely a lot of work to be done. I mean, obviously from the development standpoint, but also in-game standpoint. Like, right, and we were talking to Clayster last week, and we had this conversation that the sort of, put things into perspective for me, right? Like, we're playing a game that has been in development for 2 years. Modern Warfare, the game that we're playing today, has been in development for 2 years. And it only took, I mean, still to this day, it's still a little bit messed up. There's a lot of shit. Like, we're about to play a tournament in the inaugural season where every single team has put up 25 million minimum. Okay,
minimum.
People talk about, it's 25 million. No, bud. It's like 30 million when you put everything into consideration. 25 plus salary, 25 plus operations, 25 plus travel,
all that.
25 plus equipment, 20. Like it's a lot of money, right? And we're about to play this thing and spawns are a little wacky, right? And
yeah.
like wacky. And and look, I only play Search and Destroy, and I'm having a blast. I love the game. I can honestly sit here and tell you that I love playing that game. When I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about playing it. When I'm not playing, I'm thinking about Gunrunner. I'm thinking about why the fuck does my M4 suck? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not my steady shots. I've always been an excellent goddamn AR, and here comes fucking Modern Warfare. Now I suck as an AR.
Yeah.